Next, the B final. There's a feature name right in the middle in lane 4 in Elizabeth Beisel. Swam a good 400 IM earlier here, finishing 3rd. Of course, this event for the United States, and we'll see some of the significant names coming up in the A final. But it's interesting, it's another event where you'd say, Rowdy, if you look at the track record last summer and then again early this year, this is one the United States needs a little catching up in.
Yep, another fairly weak event for the American women, and I use that term loosely when you say weak. I mean, they're right there with the rest of the world. I mean, take the 50 free and 200 fly where I say weak. They're very, very solid. It's just if you want to try to be able to crack the top 8 in London, they're going to have to make it another little bit of a step up. And I think they're capable of doing this. There's no question that somebody that can come out of the blue like a Camille Adams in the 200 butterfly, like a Catherine Ledecky that we're going to see here in the finals here in just a second, they can make that step. But it's going to be difficult, and they're running out of time. There's no question.
Of course, this event on the world basis has really been largely owned by Pellegrini. There are some other very good performers. Boy, we saw her in Shanghai last summer, just dominant. Won this race by over 2 seconds.
And this is going to be another, I'd say, fairly tough event, Ted, at least in my opinion, to make it a wide open event. There's really only a handful of swimmers that I think that have a realistic shot of making it. It's not like the 50 free where anybody can kind of step up and have a great swim all of a sudden, which happens at the Olympic trials. I mean, people come out of the blue, but this is one event that's going to be very tough to do that. I can see a Kathleen Ledecky doing that at 15, but you know, when you look at Sutton and Hoff and Schmidt, these names are pretty solid that are going to be very tough to squeeze out of those 2 spots in the 400.
Well, 200 meters done in this race. Amber McDermott at the very bottom of your picture in lane 8 from Georgia, the lead, and Brittany McLean in lane 7, the Canadian swimmer, was 2nd.
McDermott had a great year at Georgia this past season. She finished 2nd right there in front of you, the very bottom of the screen. She's taking a big lead here at the 250 mark. She finished 2nd in the 500-yard freestyle, which is the yard version of the 400. But right there at the very bottom, you can see her, the swimmer walking right next to her. And this is one of the few Grand Prix that they can just walk right next to the swimmer in the lane. But this is where this pool is so exciting, because everybody is just jammed right onto the pool deck.
Boy, McDermott's really, she's in this 100 is kind of extending this lead. Sarah Henry making a push. Sarah Henry swimming in lane 5 has now moved up into 2nd. McLean is 3rd.
I think you can tell a little bit more out of the 400s and 800s than you can in the sprints, and where everybody's at in their training, because these distance swimmers are still very tired. So everybody's sort of on an even playing field, I think. And whereas in the 50, the 100, the 200, in my opinion, I think it's harder to tell where everybody's at now 6 weeks out than we did in January. Because at least in January, everybody was tired in Austin. At least most everybody was. Here, everybody is in different phases of beginning that taper phase. And when you start going from quantity to quality, it can really throw your stroke for a loop. That's why there's not a lot of worries with somebody like a Michael Phelps or a Natalie Coughlin, because it's a really different phase of their program.
Now, Amber McDermott trying to hold off Sarah Henry here, and it looks like she will. McDermott wins it in 4:11.83.
6.5 seconds faster than she went in the prelims.
And a big smile, Amber McDermott, 19 years old, from Washington State. Little Creek, Washington, but swimming now at Georgia. A good swim there to win the B final in the 400 free.